Here's everything I made for my Sunday feast. This feast was a 5-course meal. I gave myself 3.5 hours to prepare the entirety of this dinner, and I basically approached the entire thing like I did when I used to work in a restaurant. This means prepping all of your ingredients ahead of time and then cooking and plating as the guests are seated. Starting off, I made a mushroom miso broth. This was going to be used for my risotto, which was then going to be used for arancini. My second course was a spicy coconut corn soup. To thicken the soup, I used Yukon Golds and also coconut milk. But after letting all of those flavors develop, I blended it up. Once all my soup was safely in the blender, I added some fish sauce to season it. Course number 3 was an endive salad with diced cucumbers, pears, and then toasted walnuts. The vinaigrette of choice was an apple cider vinaigrette with shallot, garlic, olive oil, mustard, and then a lot of honey. And once my vinaigrette was made, I started one of my least favorite tasks, and that is the beauty of preparing fava beans, which have to be shelled, blanched, shocked, and then shelled again. I then shelled, blanched, and shocked some peas. I then prepped some turnips, which you guessed it, I've blanched and shocked. Once my least favorite part of prep was done, I started to prepare my arancini. After making risotto balls, I dipped it in some flour, my egg miso mix, and then panko. And to serve with this, I made a little pea puree, which I added that miso mushroom broth to. Because my dinner guests were close to arriving, I heated up some of my homemade sourdough. I served it with some butter and flaky salt. And then nearing the end of my prep, I started on course number 4. This included this very herbaceous sauce. It was very similar to chimichurri, but without the garlic. I then cooked some farro, and this was my station ready to go. Finally, I prepped my tri-berry crumble. The plan for these was to bake them and then reheat them right before serving. My dinner guests arrived, so I fried my arancini and then plated them with the pea puree, microgreens, and then edible flowers. To plate course number 2, which was my coconut corn soup, I topped it with some chili oil and toasted coconut flake. For course number 3, I just put together my salad with that dressing, walnuts, pears, cucumbers, and then I plated it. For course number 4, I cooked my farro with a knob of butter and then those peas and fava beans. I also cooked my turnips with the knob of butter, and then I seared my salmon. After plating my farro, I topped it with that salmon and then that sauce. The turnips went around the dish, and then I topped the salmon with some microgreens and more edible flowers. And then for dessert, I topped my crumble with an ice cream couldnt